My Line. Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who give you the widest choice of cereals in the whole wide world. All the great grains in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
Now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of Broadway's hit show Once More with Feeling, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now the handsome young director of the new picture at Radio City Music Hall, Green Mansions, starring his beautiful wife, Audrey Hepburn, and Tony Perkins, Mr. Mel Ferrer.
And now the girl whose beat is Broadway and whose eyelashes are embroidered, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
I've been having such a stimulating conversation backstage with our next panelist that I hardly know how to introduce him, but I'll just say our Random House publisher, Bennett, Cerf.
Here's a man who is, without question of a doubt, the most obfuscating panel moderator in America, Mr. John Charles Daley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Once again tonight, some very interesting occupations and some nice people who brought them to the theater. The kind of occupations we think will give the panel, shall we say, an interesting half hour. We'll also have a mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first challenger after this. And now let's meet our first challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Right there. D. Latham, is that right, sir?
Yes.
Where are you from, Mr. Latham?
Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles, California. Well, you've come a long way. I trust that you have some fun while you're with us. Mr. Latham, the panel.
Thank you, dear.
Panel, Mr. Latham, will you join me over here, please, sir? Are you familiar with our scorekeeping system, Mr. Latham?
I believe so, yes.
In that event, let's let the audience here in the theater and those who are watching at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, we will tell you that Mr. Latham is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Mr. Latham, you have the aura of a person who works for a non-profit-making organization about you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you work possibly for any government agency?
Yes.
Would it be a federal agency?
Yes.
Would it be some branch of the military?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have anything to do with lawmaking or breaking?
This offers us all kinds of problems.
Well, maybe
Miss
I better
Arlene,
put it another way.
Because the area of federal is so wide that it would be difficult to say that, perhaps 50% of the federal employees
Well, Mr.
don't have
Latham, is there
something.
something disciplinary about your job?
Sometimes, yes.
Are people unhappy if they are brought before you?
Sometimes, yes.
Do you have anything to do with penal institutions?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Ferrer.
Would you say that the branch of this federal agency would be prosecuting or investigative?
Yeah, I would think you're right. Actually, I would say that there is an element of the body of your questioning in the work, inherent in the work, but it is a part of it rather than the whole of it.
Could I qualify it further and ask if it has anything to do with legal matters?
Well, I would say that there is an element. there is an element of the legal that could be involved and sometimes is. Would you think that's a fair answer?
That is correct.
Very elementary.
Is it in the area of jurisprudence?
Well, now, do you mean here, Mel, does it have to do specifically with handing down judicial rulings?
Well, not necessarily handing them down, looking them up, or having to do with jurisprudence in any way.
Well, I would think that it's reasonable to say that as a part of the performance of this particular service, it might be necessary on some occasion or another to look up specific law.
I think that's correct.
Well, now, here's where I blot out here. Is it anything to do with the clerical end of jurisprudence?
No.
No, that I think we can throw down. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Latham, do you deal with both men and women
Yes.
in your work? Do you work more indoors than outdoors?
Yes.
Are you, in the course of your work, ever addressed as anything besides Mr.?
Yes.
And sometimes when he's not around, you should hear it.
Do you possess a college degree?
Do you possess a college degree?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Now, I'm probably being led down the garden path, but could you occupy your present position without possessing that college degree?
Yes.
Do you hold an elective office?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Latham, when people do address you to your face, might they possibly call you Judge Latham?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Preston.
Do they ever say, hey, you, Latham?
Sometimes.
You say men and women can appear before you or be in some way in contact with you.
Yes.
Can children or younger people ever come before you?
I think it would only be fair to say here that if they were to appear, it would not be in any relationship that fundamentally has to do with the service that Mr. Latham represents. That they might be there, but only because they like him so
Are you
much.
giving me a no?
That's right. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Ferrer.
Do you prosecute in your work?
We recommend prosecution.
I would say that in part, yes.
In part? This is very perplexing.
The whole program is now.
Well,
Let me put it this way, because I think
can't call
I should...
you a district attorney if you
No,
only
Mel,
in
well,
part
see, this,
prosecute.
Mel, is you shouldn't do that. I'll clarify it for you in this context. Many elements of government actually may prepare and recommend prosecution, but the Department of Justice has the burden and responsibility of such prosecution, so that it's difficult to say that the element that is recommending it actually prosecutes, but that to the degree that the recommendation is made, they prosecute in part. Does that give
Aren't you glad you asked?
I know nothing. Well, here's another one. Can your work be called that of a lawyer?
No, I don't think so. A lawyer could do the work, but the work does not necessarily require the lawyer. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you something other than a sheriff?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with the amount of money that people make each year?
Does he have anything to do with the amount of money that people make each year? In other words, as a source of it or a control of it or something like that, you mean?
No, not a source or a control, but merely an observer.
Well, I
Or a
observe this
critic.
sort of thing myself all the time, green with envy.
Well, perhaps I could put it in another way. Do you have anything to do with the filing of income tax reports?
Yes.
Are you a member of the What is that bureau? The Internal Revenue Bureau?
Yes.
Head of the West Coast.
Well, you're from Los Angeles. Do I have to find out something? What else you do?
I think he's head man. He looks very successful.
You're a tax man, huh? Man? Investigator? Are you a tax
Investigator, that's
No.
laid down and two to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Latham, you look like the man who was the head of the whole Los Angeles Tax Department.
The whole Los Angeles Tax Department, that makes it 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, you are the superior officer.
Get him,
aren't
honey.
you?
He's going to get us.
I don't know what other service he can be if he isn't head of the department.
Well, is that what you're saying? Is he the head of the Internal Revenue Service?
May I just...
Would you ask, is your question, is Mr. Latham...
Is he a collector in Los Angeles?
No, that makes it 10 down and no more to go. I want
Is
you
he a
to
friend?
meet the big boss. This is the United States Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service.
Does not the collector of all include Los Angeles?
There
is
is
that
a-
not part of the United States?
There is a collector of Los Angeles, right, sir?
They call him a district director.
The district
Fool to
director.
him.
But you're the commissioner,
This is the
correct.
big boss.
and we all get very little money on this program, Commissioner. You'll be happy.
I will say this. I think that one of the happy instances here is we have a chance to meet a Internal Revenue Commissioner who's recently new to his appointment, and he's proved a very happy thing to me. He has a wonderful sense of humor. And this service, sir, that you head, I think above all others, has the most wonderful sense of humor in the country, because they take an awful beating just for doing their job.
And I'm for it.
But I will say this, with all the wit and the humor that you might hear, we all respect your service, sir. I think you can be proud of its record of achievement and also of integrity.
We appreciate
And
that
we
very much.
congratulate you on your appointment and trust you have a good
Thank
service
you,
in
Mr.
it.
Daley.
Every once in a while in this strange, mixed-up business, you do feel a small sadness because we don't have more color television. You would like to see a pale green panel look this way. Now let's see what you can do with another challenger panel. Will you come in and sign in, please? Right there, please. Neil O'Malley. Just run it over the edge there. So I can... Neil O'Malley Keys. Is that right, sir? Mr. O'Malley Keys. That is correct. When
That
you
is
have the
correct.
hyphen. Your whole last name is O'Malley Keys.
O'Malley.
Where are you from, sir?
Santa Ana, California.
Santa Ana, California. You're not there. Originally, you come from where?
County Mayo.
County Mayo. Well, now, there we are. All right, Mr. O'Malley Keys, will you say hello to the panel? Panel, Mr. O'Malley Keys, will you come and join me here, sir? Do you know how we keep score?
I think I do, yes.
All right, fine. Let's let the folks here in the theater and those at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, I will tell you that Mr. O'Malley Keys is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. O'Malley Keys, is there something that people enjoy in your services?
Most certainly.
Most certainly. Would you consider that what you do has anything to do with entertainment in any way?
No, none whatsoever.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Ferrer.
Well, when you mention the word services, does this result in a product?
It does, yes.
Is this product something tangible?
The answer, I would say it is yes.
It is.
You mean unlike money?
Yes. Do you deal with both men and women?
I do.
Do they come to you, or do you go to them?
That can be answered yes or no,
Do they
Mel.
come to you?
No.
That's fine, Mel. Thank you. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Worked out very nicely, didn't it?
Then, Mr. O'Malley Keys, you go to them.
I do.
Is it at their request?
Yes, it is.
I don't know whether he's sunburned or flushed.
Heavenly days.
I'm innocent.
And when you have made contact with your clients, if that's the appropriate word, you do something for them or to them?
Well, I do something for them.
And the product is therein involved?
It is, yes.
This is a solid product
Beg your pardon?
rather than liquid.
You say it's a solid
Is
product?
it solid rather than liquid?
No.
No. That's 3 down, 7 to go. Mr. Cerf.
Now you know what it is.
Yes, it's a liquid product then, Mr. O'Malley.
That's
Keys.
correct, Mr. Cerf.
Is this liquid product administered externally?
Depends how the way you look at it.
I would say this. I think Mr. O'Malley Keys and I would have to agree here that there are some rare instances, the motivation of which are very hard to understand, where some external application may be made, but we cannot accept that the external application is the proper end use of the product in question, and
If
therefore...
it is used at all, Mr. Daley, my answer is yes.
You get a no. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
And when have you had a rub down with scotch, Bennett? Is this something that one consumes
Yes.
if one has a good day? Is there anything in this that would be alcoholic in content?
Well, ordinarily, no, but...
You can mix it up a little, though, huh?
5 down and 5 to go, Mel.
Is this product, which we assume you purvey or furnish your clients with, does it have a tendency, if associated with other products, to lift the customer?
You mean, is it an hydraulic fluid?
No. Is it exhilarating?
No, it doesn't.
It is not exhilarating.
No, it's
Well,
not.
not to me, it isn't anyway.
Its purpose is not to exhilarate unnecessarily, or shall we say, beyond the norms of the daily intake of other fluids. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. O'Malley Keys, would it be your guess that as an average suburban or city matron, I might have some of this in my house, your product?
Yes, I think that'd be most likely.
Most likely. Does it come in a bottle?
Yes.
But it's non-alcoholic.
Small conference.
Would it be?
On the issue of the bottle, I feel it's only fair to say that this does not always have to be the container.
Would you like to name some other containers that it could be in? That's beer, honey. Well, that's alcoholic, too.
No conference has been called, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, I'd like to call one.
You may have 20 seconds for a conference.
There have been various suggestions from the panel that this might come in barrels or in cans, but it's non-alcoholic. What?
Root beer.
Root beer in barrels? Root?
Used to be.
All right. I'll go the whole way with you, Mel.
Maybe it's just a detergent.
Mr. O'Malley Keys, is this something that might be served as a refreshment at a party?
Yes, some kinds of parties.
A square party, this is.
Does it have any sugar content?
Well, it has some small element, but it is not a sugar content that is
It's not known for its sugar.
Well, I
notable.
just said some.
It's not notable. Actually, it does not have sufficient sugar content beyond
I
that
just
natural...
said any, John. Just any, really little bit.
Well, actually, the last time I took a look at the measurement, we decided this was a little bit less than any. That makes it 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Neil O'Malley Keys, would this product ever be considered sour?
Yeah, but it would be, well. Sure.
Yes.
Would it possibly be used to put pickles in? Or...
That's all. This is wonderful.
We have a meeting.
I want you to meet one of the sterling representatives of the Excelsior Creamery Company, Mr. O'Malley Keys, who has a milk route of 177 customers, which he arises at 3:30 every morning to serve in Santa Ana. Nice to have you with us. We had a load of fun, sir. Thank you much for being our guest.
I enjoyed it enormously.
What a happy bunch of customers you must have on your milk
Oh, I
route.
do.
I
have no idea.
I wish that you were in Rye. Thank you. Good to see you. Good night. And now we'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment. But first, here is a word from our... We come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which I ask my friends to blindfold themselves. Blindfolds all in place, panel? Yes. Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin it all with Mr. Ferrer.
Are you a professional?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen.
Are you more noted for your appearances in motion pictures than on the Broadway stage?
Yes,
Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever toiled for that struggling but deserving firm of panel show putter-oners, Goodson Todman?
No, sir.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Have you made a picture recently?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ferrer.
Is that picture currently playing in New York City?
No, sir.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it scheduled to open within the next 10 days?
I hope so.
Mr. Cerf.
Is it a very funny picture?
No, sir.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
All I can tell you is that just blew Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. Were you supposed to be in a picture that will be less for your not being able to be in it or refusing to be in it? And have you just arrived from California? And shall I go on?
Yeah.
And are you Lana Turner?
Actually,
on you, Arlene.
Miss Lana, to save me, Imitation of Life opens within the next 10 days.
I did make a mistake. I have been informed it will open in the middle of April, I believe.
So that's our fault.
We'll forgive it.
And
Okay.
I was referring, of course, to Anatomy of a Murder, and your anatomy is murder. You don't need the picture.
So,
We
Imitation...
tried to do the Japanese bet for our beloved Mel, but we got a little
It
hung
sounded
up
like
with
Marilyn
it.
Monroe.
We thought you were doing
Did it?
thought it was
Oh, I
Marilyn.
should be that lucky.
Miss Lana, thank you so much for being our guest. Nice to have
Thank
you with
and
us. in What's
I
My
do
Life.
wish that we'd been able to go a few moments more.
Next time
We'll get them next
you and I'll
time.
do an Irish brogue or something. We'll tie them up.
I'll have to go learn it.
All right, Miss. Nice to have you. be back in a moment after this word from our alternate. It's been a very fast-moving half hour. And on that happy note, good night, Miss Arlene.
Good night, John, and good night, Mel. Thank you. It was nice to have you with us.
Good night, Arlene. Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Mel. Come again. And Bennett, have fun in Chicago. Now, you be good. Good night.
Mel, bring your wife next time.
Love to.
Good night, John.
Good night. And good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Transportation for contestants on What's My Line is arranged by United Airlines. You can help Radio Free Europe broadcast truth behind the Iron Curtain. Write a 25-word truth broadcast. Get details from truth broadcast posters everywhere. What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Totten.